Okay, so what we're going to look at this today is that how does Zarazak get all the OBS cams, all the cams going that I have in Omegle and other stuff, and how do I get unbanned? Well, it's all to do with the fact that I've got a fake camera called OBS Studio and OBS camera, and I can log off and log back on and get a new IP address. I talk about that in the other video about avoiding the banning. So every time I get banned or I get blocked or it comes up with Facebook, all I do is turn off the camera, restart my router or go and reconnect to the internet, and then go back in again in private and then start it up again, and then I'm back on and they all think I'm a new person. How does that work? So I'm going to assume that people that are looking at this use OBS, Open Broadcast Systems, and Open Broadcast Studio, and have the OBS cam installed. Normally that wouldn't work. It won't let you use it. What I've done and I use is a couple of tweaks that make it work. And what I do is there's a registry key that names your OBS camera. So if I have a look in my internet settings in here, and I have a look at my internet settings, and I look at down here under settings, cookies, site permissions, and I look under the camera, it's set for ask first, and I can see all the different cameras I've got installed, and there's the OBS virtual camera. But I've also got this one called HDcam 2020. That doesn't actually exist. It's just a reg key that points back at this one here. And what that means, it tricks all these websites into using a real camera instead of the name OBS camera. It leaves OBS camera there, they won't touch it, but I create another one. Now I'll close that one off now and we'll look at what that looks like. So go off the internet settings and we'll look at the registry settings. Note that's PowerShell. The registry settings here. There is this registry setting. This section here that looks at exactly changing a key. Let me just turn on format word wrap so we can see it. Okay, and make it bigger. Right, here it is there. And let's move that about so we can see that better. Here we go, right under my face there. So I'll put that right in front of me. Right, so this top section here names the OBS camera. It gives it a new name, a friendly name, and you can see it here, HDcam. Now, every time I get banned, I just go through the setup again and change it from 2020 to 2021 or 2023 or Bobcam, something different. It could be called Freddy's camera. It doesn't matter what it is, and it will still work. But it means their programs won't detect it as being a dodgy cam. So there's two registry keys with the same name. Change it to 2021. Great. Done. Then you save it, execute that registry file, and you're done. So it's only this is the registry file, and you do that whenever you get banned. You don't have to do it all the time, just whenever you get banned. Right. To start up though, what I have to do is disable all the cameras. Before you go into OBS, before you start the internet browser up, you disable all your physical cameras. So I bring that in here and I use this little command here, and it goes through and it disables all the PMP devices, plug and play devices. So USB cams, started with Microsoft Cam Live Studio, which is the name of my camera. You might have others in there, and there's a way to list all the different cameras. And I've got another one that is just a cheap USB camera, so I do two. One disables the live cam, and then the other one disables the friendly cam. Right, next one, it says it enables again, but what we do first is we disable it, then we start OBS and turn on the virtual cam. Then go to in private browser in your browser, of course, and go to settings and set the default to the cam name that you've defined. So in the internet settings, where I was on here, we go to the cookies and properties, go down to cams, and instead of the normal one, which would be the physical cams up the top here, we're choosing the HDcam. Right. So when we open up an in private browser, it then goes into using that one as the default. So now the browser is going to try and use the virtual camera, even though it's got a different name. Okay, so now we've turned on the virtual cam, we've got into in private browsers, go to settings and set the default to the new name in the reg key, and then go to AU Chat, Omegle, or OmeTV. Right. Now, you're in there and it's going. OmeTV now hasn't thrown a hissy fit, it hasn't forced you to log in, and the camera still doesn't work because it's pointing to nothing at the moment, or depending on what you've done. Then, once you've got that at that point, you go in and you enable all the real cameras, or the real camera if you have only one cameras, using the reverse command. So it then enables all the cameras. Right, they still don't work at the moment, but now the cameras are live. The website is still talking to the OBS camera, but the cameras aren't live yet. So you go into each camera, go into the properties on the camera, the real one, and deactivate. It's a button under properties to deactivate. Then click activate again, and that will just turn it off and turn it back on again. So you've disabled it, you've started up the Omegle or OmeTV, you've then enabled the physical cameras, and then you tell OBS Studio to turn off and turn on. That forces them back into life again. Now you've got a whole bunch of cameras, or you've got the real camera talking to the fake camera, and you've got OmeTV looking at the fake camera. Great. Now you can have whatever fun in OmeTV you want with your OBS Studio. And if you get banned or blocked or anything else, all you have to do is go in, restart the router, and log back in again, or stop the internet connection and go back in again. But that does mean you don't have to go through the reg key again, but you have to, when you start up OmeTV, you have to disable it in PowerShell, start up OmeTV in the in private browser. Then once the in private browser is up and running, then you enable the cameras again and tweak them in OBS Studio, and you're back live and running again, and you can do your effects and whatever you want using OBS Studio. The only time you have to do the reg key thing is if you get what's called a deep ban. So if you've done all that and it still comes up banned, what I'm finding is there's another layer of deep ban. Then you need to go and rerun the registry key again and give it a new name. You don't have to do it every time, but I've had maybe 4 or 5 bans a day, and then once every few days I'll get what I call a deep ban, and they've banned HDcam 2921, and then I'll change it to HD webcam Bob 3 and start again until they ban that one. We can do this forever. We're not going to run out of names for our cameras, but they'll run out of blocking. So that's it in a nutshell. Now on this video, I'm going to put the text in the description of what those reg keys are. And if I can't do that, I will put a link in the description to a file somewhere. So any questions, put it in the comments, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But I figured out how we can do this, and I use it all the time. Go for it.